It's quite a fixture for Mark Beanie. Getting the call, John Lukic. Very disappointed to be left out, not even named as a substitute. Neither manager has a goalkeeper on the bench today. Beanie had 5 months in the side 2 seasons ago and acquitted himself well. Dermot Gallagher is the man in charge. Neither club has had much pre-Christmas cheer. Just 3 Premiership points for Manchester United from their last 4 outings. Only 1 for Leeds over the same period. Talk of suicidal displays and of the conceding of very soft goals emanating around Elland Road. Well, it's very cold on Christmas Eve, but none of the rain that fell heavily in the north of England yesterday and the day before. And no festive spirit in the fixture computer for Manchester United, given back-to-back, arguably their 2 most difficult matches of the season.
I just wonder if Peter Schmeichel had a word with his captain, Martin, at the toss-up to say, listen, if you win the toss and stay as we are. Just looking at Mark Beanie as he was watching the play there with his hand up across his eyes. The sun's really low and it really is right into his face at that end of the pitch. You look at the shadows there at that 18-yard line. You know, he's looking straight into that at times. That'll be interesting.
Well, there's a little bag in his net, and it looks as though there's something on top of it which might be a cap, but he hasn't chosen to use it if it is a cap. Keane. Martin Palmer. And Keane went in bruisingly. Didn't make much contact, fortunately for him and for the referee, who just gives the free kick, which Leeds don't take with any greater authority. But Roy Keane, who's missed matches through suspension, of course, he's had 3 red cards in 1995. I hardly need to remind you of that, but he's also had a hernia surgery as well, trying to make up for lost time. And Mike Ferguson pleased to have his forthright midfield man back in the action. Here's Thomas Brolin, who's such a great talent, but is taking his time, understandably settling into this type of football in the Premiership.
I wasn't happy there, Gary McAllister. Played a lovely ball into Carlton Palmer. His first touch let him down on the edge of the box.
Yeboah. Optimist in the Leeds crowd. Certainly encouraged when Yeboah gets on the ball, despite his recent, by his standards, poor run in front of goal. Kelly with the cross. Well, Brian Deane has been a real thorn in Manchester United's side with Leeds and previously with Sheffield United as well.
This will be something to look for. Both fullbacks are not the biggest in the world. Brian Deane pulls onto Gary Neville. Now, in a contest like that, I would expect him to win it. And with Paul Parker being selected today, probably because of Yeboah's mobility, then you can imagine that Steve Bruce has got a huge job on there to make sure that if Deane's around the 18-yard box, then Steve Bruce is a man who's challenging him. Otherwise, Deane will win quite a few headers.
And we stress again, Andy, that Deane is playing through the middle today. He hasn't been doing that job very often, although, of course, he was signed for that position. But they've used him, and he plays effectively in wide positions as well.
You look at the size of the United side, Martin. Back 4 all small apart from Bruce. Up ahead of them, well, no big 6-footers around there. And I just wonder if set pieces, Leeds have paid particular attention to them in training this week.
There's David Weatherall with plenty of height above Cole. McAllister, Parker quickly on Yeboah. Alec Ferguson will want to see plenty of that. Arrigo. Brolin has a free role, really, to link with the front 2, one of whom is Yeboah. Almost ran the deflection through for Brolin to collect himself. Arrigo, brisk start from Leeds. Well, if you go by results, Elland Road not as intimidating as it has been. Leeds have already lost here 5 times this season.
They're throwing out the traps on Martin Leeds today. Just approaching 5 minutes and, well, they've just been at it. It's as simple as that. It's important for Manchester United when this is happening at Elland Road that you do stand firm.
Kelly's long throw. Came off Keane, who's trying to prevent a corner here, and he hasn't been able to do that.
First test coming up, Martin, I feel. Jobson will be in Weatherall. The only surprise is Carlton Palmer's not going in. And they've got Dean, they've got Weatherall, they've got Gary Speed, who's got great spring. They've got a threat.
They've got McAllister taking the corner. Jobson gets to it. Weatherall is in there, and a hand was used, and it's a penalty.
Has he given the free kick, Martin? It looks, it's certainly a hand went up. There's no doubt a hand went up. Well, they're going crazy in there. The hand went up, there's no doubt, and it struck the hand. Now watch this. I said corners and free kicks might be important. They win the first header. That's the key. Now watch it as it comes in. Jobson gets the header in. They're going up to challenge. Up comes Nicky Butt. There's the left hand up. Took it off Weatherall. Look at Dermot Gallagher's position. Spot on. He sees it. He punts to the spot. It's a penalty kick.
Nicky Butt, the culprit. Gary McAllister, the penalty taker for Leeds United.
I'm not so sure he intended that, Martin, but I've always said when you put your arms up that high or your hands up above shoulder level, when you make contact with the ball, you're asking for trouble.
Here goes McAllister. 1-0 to Leeds United.
Well, we said they've thrown out the traps and they've got a real early reward for a very positive start. Super strike from the penalty spot early in the game. Are there any nerves? Not in McAllister's mind. Schmeichel goes the right way. He's got a big frame, but such is the quality. Even he can't get near it.
Well, Manchester United couldn't cope with the passion in Liverpool's play last Sunday, and they're on the spot again. They're a goal down from the spot.
Well, sometimes games like this, you feel a little let down. But I think things that make a game that you feel is going to be good even better as an early goal. Now Manchester United will come out. Even now they'll be positive going ahead. Leeds at home will drive forward. The makings of a super game here this afternoon.
Gary McAllister's boyhood bedroom was littered with souvenirs of Manchester United. He was a real fan. He had trials with United as a schoolboy, not taken on. Well, he's hurt them here from the penalty spot. And how United, from Manchester that is, need their front players to bring them back into the picture, but they can't stem the tide at the moment through midfield as McAllister drives on again.
Well, look at Peter Schmeichel. He's right out to the edge of his box. He's really giving Steve Bruce a rollicking. We've seen it often enough. I'm not so sure what Steve Bruce could have done about that. Paul Parker got dragged into a position with Yeboah. And look at him, now he's really struggling. Look at Parker trying to get back. Now Bruce can't go and close him down because Dean's there on his shoulder. Bruce does the right thing, I think. And he holds off as long as he possibly could. But it wasn't good enough for his goalkeeper.
In the end, McAllister may be just distracted by Dennis Irwin diving in from left-back. Certainly got the drop on Keane, who is critically, given the way the game started, short of match practice. Well, they haven't forgiven Cantona here. It's more than 3 years since he left that shock move from one United to the other. Always requires great personal control from him to come and play it here, not to rise to the baiting that's going on already. When there was a penalty here in this fixture last season, it was his way and he took it without any trace of nerves. But Leeds won 2-1, and you felt it was only in the September of that particular season, you felt to the fans that was as good as winning the championship. The next match here after Manchester United was Mansfield, and they lost that and brought down to earth with a bump. They're flying high at the moment, Howard Wilkinson's men. After all the sorrow of Sheffield Wednesday and those 6 goals. champion, Howard Wilkinson, of a mid-winter break. And if it does come into play, I hope it's not at the expense of the holiday fixtures. For so many fans, time with the family and plenty of football is the perfect recipe at this time of year.
Well set for some of that as well. Especially when you've got games like this and what's coming up in store in the coming couple of weeks. Great stuff.
Palmer. Parker didn't get there. Brian Dean against the bar. It comes out the way of speed, but drawn away by Butt. Leeds so close to a second.
Well, he did everything right, Brian Dean. He got it up over Schmeichel, and it just wouldn't come down. Agonising couple of seconds for him as he watched it drift onto the crossbar. Well, he's given offside this time, and I just wondered as Dean was slipped through whether he was offside here. Now you watch as Carlton Palmer goes through. There's the pass. He's fractionally offside, but he gets away with it. Schmeichel, well, we saw last week how good he was at spreading himself against Stan Collymore. And perhaps Brian Dean was watching it because he gets this up. And that's the important part of it. Now, will it come down for him? Wow, just not enough.
It's all Leeds, but here's Cantona. Cleared by Dorigo. But
now they're just first to everything at the moment. The team in white. First for the tackle, first to any drop balls, winning most 50-50s.
Leeds header. There's a 50-50 won by Palmer against Keane. Yeboah has had some strong things to say this week about his teammates bickering in the dressing room at Sheffield Wednesday after that defeat, but they should all pull together. They're certainly doing that in the early stages here. Kelly. McAllister. The player can't get to it. Dean pursuing. Owen repositioning and then showing signs of Manchester United's current anxiety. They're pressed, they're panicking.
Well, as soon as it spun up in the air, and Dennis Irwin was sandwiched between Dean and Palmer, I didn't think he fancied winning the header.
Well, he hasn't had the best of luck with Lee Sharp going down with the flu. Ryan Giggs still feeling an injury that troubled him at Anfield last week, a bruised foot. But Alex Ferguson has plenty of capable players still at his disposal, but they just haven't settled here. And they are a goal adrift. And Paul Parker coming back for only his fifth Premiership start in 18 months. He's had knee and ankle trouble. Rather being thrown in at the deep end. That's nicely played by Keane.
And look at the pace of Dorigo.
He shifted. Cantona. Beckham. There's a ball to the left, but Beckham looks the other way. Owen was in space, but he needed to be told, really. Keane. Cantona in a position where he's hard to pin down. Leeds shape up with everyone behind the ball. McClare. Now Cole, good movement from him. And Cantona!
That was a brilliant
combination there. Was the best by a long way we've seen from United to this point.
Brilliant football all round. They were so patient. Must have put 20 passes together. Cole makes a run down the inside right channel. Cantona has peeled off round the back. He's agonisingly away. What, a foot away from bringing his team level. Super football from United. And a little warning to Leeds that they might have a say in this game yet.
Dean. Yeboah. Just got a bit too close to the two big men. call from Beanick. To Jobson letting it run. Jobson, who moved from Oldham, was put on hold earlier in the season, only went through in October. And of course was on the Oldham side that got so close to getting to the FA Cup final, and then Mark Hughes kept Manchester United alive, so he might feel a score to settle today. Giving confidence with his whole demeanour at the moment to a team that was really under the cosh early on. Cantona again. Both fullbacks for Leeds, very nippy, Kelly and Dorigo. Dean. Keane in the way.
Well, United look as if they've settled. They're growing in confidence, Mark. The passing is starting to click together, something that didn't happen last week at Anfield. Popping off some nice passes, some good movement in the midfield area.
Here's McClare. Waiting for Irwin and using him as a decoy. Hit Carlton Palmer.
Great run from Irwin. Gary Kelly had a no-win situation there. If he chose to go with the runner as he did, then McClare was tucking in for the shot. If he stayed with McClare to stop the shot, McClare was slipping in Irwin. Great off the ball run.
Beckham will take the corner. Irwin. Still with Manchester United and David Beckham. Well, they are settling, and maybe Nicky Butts now got his concentration back, having been penalised in his own penalty area. As you said, Andy, it was just a case of really, Dermot Gallagher clearly saw it, of judging exactly why the hand was up. And
I mean, we talk about it all the time, that you do use your arms for leverage, and you do tend to put your hands up when you're jumping for a ball. But I think in the penalty area, if you make contact with the ball, as Nicky Butt did, and your arms are that high, then you are risking giving the penalty away.
Schmeichel risking giving a goal away. Dean. Well, that'll be Steve Bruce's turn to have a rant back at Peter Schmeichel.
I think Peter Schmeichel was just having a go at Bruce for not making an angle for the pass.
He's always got an answer.
No, that was almost catastrophic from Peter Schmeichel. If Brian Dean had been able to produce a chip of the quality of his first one, then Leeds would be 2-0 up.
Dean trying to get it on quickly. He knew where Palmer was running towards. Parker. Weatherall. Here's Owen. Keane's header. Owen can do his volley it forward. Andy Cole, one of his strongest in the air. Keane. Always so much talk about Cantona going into this fixture, but he's done more than most for Manchester United over the last 10 minutes or so since the goal, to give some belief, particularly to the younger players.
I think what's been impressive from them is the way that they have tried to pass the ball about. Leeds have certainly pressed them when they haven't had the ball all over the pitch. Manchester United have been confident enough to do as Paul Parker did, knock balls into the midfield area, and his players happy to get hold of it.
They are playing a team currently in the lower half of the table. Leeds have slipped dramatically recently. McAllister, Brolin. Howard Wilkinson has been on at him about when to get involved in the play, Thomas Brolin. He's lost the ball in midfield, and Leeds have lost goals from it in recent games. Spins away Manchester United's way to Gary Neville. Butts bombed on into the penalty area. And Easy for Weatherall. And Brolin's got plenty of space. Ferguson's team had really committed players in search for the equaliser. It's offside, according to the linesman. Palmer threaded it through beautifully for Brian Dean.
Great break from Palmer. Well, as soon as Brolin picked up the ball, Palmer appears on the scene. And he plays it first time. Now this is tight. He's about the same as he was when he was given on, when he chipped Schmeichel. So he's only just offside. Great vision from Carlton Palmer, and a great thrusting run from him.
He can enjoy his Christmas dinner, Carlton Palmer, because he starts a 2-game suspension after this match. And as the games at Bolton and Everton.
Well, you can be sure, and when that happens and you're going to lose a player of importance like Carlton, what Howard Wilkinson would have said, go on in Carlton, you've got 90 minutes and you're going to have a break, give it your lot.
Weatherall got lucky then, he was on his knees when the ball struck him. McAllister, Brolin. Tony Dorigo, well forward. Yeboah going in, fine defending by Bruce. Back from Dorigo again, Yeboah lets it run. Dean was waiting. Still in Dorigo's area. Speed. Here's Kelly.
They just about survived it to Manchester United. Great movement, they dragged Neville inside and then released Dorigo on the left-hand side. Way wide, they look at Dean trying to get in, Yeboah trying to get in. Watch Steve Bruce. You've got to defend it for your life at the near post. Bruce did that. Watch the little dummy here, Yeboah. Over it goes. Oh, almost took Dennis Irwin by surprise, but he reacted really brightly, Dennis. And Brian Kidd's at the bench. He's trying to talk to Alex Ferguson, trying to whether they should change things. I'm not sure. He's looking up at the stand and signalling to the manager.
One option they were considering was to play Roy Keane in as a third centre-back. The man who makes the decisions. Here with Palmer, and he's conceded that he's got to try and jockey the Leeds midfield man, having given the ball away. Brolin, Bruce backpedaling, drops for Gary Speed on the left foot, which is where he'd like to find the ball falling. He claims the corner. Dermot Gallagher points for the goal kick.
I tell you, they're catching the play up so well, Leeds, at the moment, Mark. They're committing so many men to the attack. We think that Palmer's on his own, or he's got one option, but when he tucks it back, Brolin's there, Yeboah's there, Dean's appearing in the box, and Speed's at the edge of it. I mean, that's great play from Leeds, and players getting forward as quickly as they can.
Well, you push Howard Wilkinson on why Leeds have just fallen from grace in the last month or so, and I'll tell you, we've become a bit fancy Danish. And we've become too much of a passing side. We don't mind getting the ball down and playing, but we've got to do it with more purpose. That's why Brian Dean's up front as an option to get it forward quickly. But they've certainly not sacrificed some passing principles today, and they're knocking the ball around well. Parker. And Palmer gets a huge cheer for dispossessing Cantona. Yeboah, who will shoot from there if you give him the chance.
I was going to say, normally you'd be saying if you're backing off, go on, shoot, shoot.
Not to him.
And then you think, oh, no, don't shoot, please. But he looked like he was lining up from the moment he got it in the halfway line, didn't he? There's one thing in his mind. I'm going to drive forward. If they don't close me, well, I'm going to pull the trigger.
He's doing some closing down of his own here, but the ball had already crossed the line. Leeds will lose Tony Yeboah for a month or so after their third-round FA Cup tie at Derby, because he's required by his country, Ghana, for the African Nations Championship.
What a tie that's shaping up to be.
Well, there's the speed of Paul Parker. Always been one of his great commodities.
Well, that'll be a worry. Dorigo now, Martin, in the last 5 or 10 minutes, has really got himself forward into good space. And that's the area where Nicky Butt, who's playing on that right-hand side, is a little bit narrow. But look at that, the Giants, the 3 Giants at the edge of the D, ready to attack.
Corner by McAllister, net by McClare. Kelly. Well, everyone's having a shy at the Manchester United goal at the moment.
He won't be happy, Gary McAllister. I think he knows his team have got good height advantage, and he played a poor quality corner. When you've got the quality of Gary McAllister, you want to be delivering better than that. This is a bit, well, it's rather ambitious from Gary Kelly.
Well, this is always such a meaty fixture, and there have been plenty of contests since Leeds got back into the top division in 1990. 15 games against Manchester United, but Leeds have won only once of them. One of them in League and Cup.
And we were here.
That was September of the last season. And they were looking good at 2-0. Manchester United came back with that Cantona penalty, and it was very nearly ending in disappointment for Leeds again. So they'll be taking nothing for granted, even though they're bossing proceedings at the moment. Cantona studiously touching it off. Keane wanting help down the left, at least there's an option. But Cole, McClare, Andy Cole, flag is up. Really, and he's so dangerous even in this lean period when you feed it through to his feet.
The typical of the spell he's having at the moment, Martin, is that when it does come through to even here, he tries to stop it, tries to hold it up. It's tight. I mean, it's a tight decision. The flag goes up very, very late. It's still not up. Look at the top of the right. The flag isn't up yet. Then it goes up. Very late. But typical of Andy's luck at the moment. His first touch, it just set behind him.
He's a very proud young man, and I'm sure he's out to make his critics eat their words. Ball got through towards Brolin because Dean parted the defenders. Cole trying to use his feet quickly again. Keane. Cantona. Not the most natural defender, Brolin. It might drop Manchester United's way. In fact, it fell for Gary Kelly and then for Gary McAllister just ahead of Beckham. Well, for your future holiday entertainment, this is the lineup. Boxing Day, Blackburn against Manchester City, and the double-header on the 27th, Manchester United against Newcastle, enough said, followed by another look at Leeds at Bolton. I think the expression is, we proudly present. Gary Kelly was one of those Leeds players who had a particularly torrid time at Hillsborough. He'd got caught up in the emotion of the Republic of Ireland's defeat in that European Championship playoff in the previous midweek. Whether all miscalculated. Jobson didn't. And although Manchester United have popped 1 or 2 passes around, and Cantona is trying to conduct the orchestra, it's been a fairly straightforward return for Mark Beanie to this point. Cantona with the baton again. Irwin. Not jumping, with his arms down by his side. Speed. Oh. Taking a risk here, giving it to Butt. Cole! Or maybe the luck has turned. Andy Cole got it through Beanie. And Leeds, who've been committing suicide, in the words of Howard Wilkinson, in recent matches, have done so again here.
He will be absolutely livid. Gary Speed's job here, you're defending a 1-0 lead, put your foot through it, down the line. You don't try and beat players in the edge of your box. They're outnumbered, the defenders aren't set for the cross. Both Cole and Cantona, watch the reaction of both of them. They pull off defenders, look at Cole, he just holds his run. Beautiful positioning. He needed a bit of luck because the goalkeeper, well,
he wasn't set either.
Nah, he wasn't, Matt, was he? It was more or less straight at him, but squid him through his hands. Hey, but you tried to tell an Andy Cole that. He struck the ball sweetly enough. He hit the target. That's what he had to do. And this time, Andy Cole got a bit of luck he's been looking for weeks now.
It's 1-1. Alex Ferguson, whether he considered leaving Andy Cole out, no, was the definite reply. Pointing out, as you also mentioned earlier, Andy, that the supply at Anfield to him was non-existent, and it better be better today, said Mr. Ferguson. Well, it has been. Cole has scored, and Manchester United are starting just to have a hint of a smile after some frowns and groans early on. Fascinating first half an hour at Elland Road.
Once again, Nicky Butt in, and he's going to make that 30-40 yard crossfield run to close down Dorigo.
Yeboah. Speed with something to make up for. Oh, and he very nearly did it. In the grand manner, on his weaker foot too.
Well, surprise, I would say, is the thing it takes Peter Schmeichel. And almost a goal, drives in, and I don't think he's expecting the shot. Certainly isn't expecting with such power. Goalkeeper's got it covered. He'll be looking to make up for that error that provided Andy Cole with a chance to bring his side level.
Now, how will the morale of Leeds United stand up to not just the equaliser, but the nature of it? Only in keeping with the sloppy defensive work of recent weeks, when they've spent hours on the training ground over the past few days trying to eradicate such mistakes. As the manager, well, you tear your hair out, there's nothing you can do. Players have to take responsibility for mistakes like that. Keane, whose spirit is certainly willing. We'll see how strong the flesh is after the absence.
Well, it looks straight there, Dennis Irwin, but Gary Neville pushed up. I think it's almost tit for tat. Dorigo's enjoying great space, and so is Gary Neville on the right side when they have the ball.
Weatherall. Rodrigo couldn't keep it in, and the passes aren't quite finding their target. Just a little pat on the back for Nicky Butt, who had gone through the trauma of giving away the penalty and went in with that challenge to dispossess Gary Speed.
Oh, you'll be happier. You'll be happier. I think what he showed when he won the ball, Mark, was a cool head. He could have just flashed it across the face of the goal aimlessly. He didn't do that. Young shoulders, old head, picked out Cole.
Shoulder that was damaged then. Nicky Butt, it's a bit further down, maybe the elbow. Penny for the thoughts up in Newcastle to see Cole take his chance with that much awaited game at Old Trafford on Wednesday between the league leaders and the side that's trying to cut that lead to 7 points today. And of course, if they do that, they have the opportunity to cut it to 4 by beating Kevin Keegan's side. Keane. Owen. No offside. David Beckham. Andy Cole there again, having played his part in the build-up and Just hanging his head a little in disappointment that the ball didn't come more accurately back towards him.
Panic bells were ringing over here. God, they're looking for offside. It's a tight one. Certainly that isn't the knockdown, whether Andy Cole was fractionally offside.
10 minutes to go to half-time. Manchester United's corner with Beckham. Out comes Beanie, but it goes the punch to Cantona, who was lurking with real intent. Here he is again. Leeds are pushed up to the edge of the penalty area. Beckham makes it his. Weatherall. More alarm bells ringing. Well, Parker's missed it. It's Yeboah. Still got something to do. Tony Yeboah. He's done it. Leeds are back in front. Yeboah.
And once again, a mistake at the heart of the goal. The slip, a crucial one by Paul Parker. But didn't Yeboah do everything else oh so gloriously? This the finish of a world-class striker. Now, Dennis Irwin might think, I'll keep him on his right because he wants to go left. He does that right, but what he didn't account for was the quality on the right-hand side, as again Schmeichel spreads himself and Yeboah gets it up, over, and this time down.
Manchester United celebrations cut short. Yeboah, who does favour his left foot, but as we've seen, is very capable on the right. And he made light of the difficulties that faced him. Well, the ball had got beyond Paul Parker. Still one more defender to discomfort, and the goalkeeper, who presents himself so hugely in those situations. Yeboah had the answers.
Well, we hoped for something like this. You and I talking before now, you think it's all here. Both teams struggling, both desperate for a win. Will we get it? To be fair, the players are providing us with, well, something great to watch so far.
Dean. Pass just asked too much of him. Yeboah, who's been ill this week, had a chest infection. He had to go back to Africa to represent Ghana in a warm-up international for the forthcoming African Nations Cup. Came back to freezing Yorkshire to play at Sheffield Wednesday. But certainly looking in proper condition here. Dean should win it against Irwin, has won it. Palmer, can he win it? The height advantage again telling.
And it's just a pity no one caught up the play here. For either headers, particularly Carlton Palmer's. This was the one that was nodded down into the real danger area. But for once, surprisingly, no white shirt was arriving. It's about the first time that's happened in this half.
Well, maybe a period of re-entrenchment after regaining the lead. Kelly. Brolin calling for it. Keane caught in possession by Dean. And then the Leeds number 9 shoving unceremoniously aside David Beckham.
I just wonder about Thomas Brolin at times, Martin. Just arrived in the country. He must think, playing in this game, he must think, what am I playing here? I doubt if he's played in a game that's been played as quickly as this one has this afternoon. The pressure from both sides when the teams have had the ball has been quite incredible. It's a credit to the players. They've made big demands on the team with the ball. And I think, to be fair, the team that's had the ball have done everything so well at the moment.
Well, Thomas Brolin from Scandinavia, from Sweden, of course, where Leeds traditionally had a great following. For more than 20 years now, a match has been beamed live every Saturday to the countries in that part of the world. It began at a time when Leeds were very much top dog in England, and it's a legacy that's gone on. maybe it's not entirely a coincidence that Thomas Brolin has thrown in his lot with Leeds United after 5.5 good years in Italy with Parma. Great years, really. Remember, he was the player who knocked England out of the last European Championships. For Sweden against Graham Taylor's team in Stockholm. Oh, it's Jabbar. Puzzling Parker again.
Good pressure. Even now he's there. Look at that. I don't suppose Thomas Brolin would have done things like that in Italy. As soon as it went back to the goalkeeper, there he was, putting pressure under Peter Schmeichel.
Fizz by here, and Leeds United have the initiative. They have a corner. Schmeichel doing the organising. Bruce as well pointing. Got to be absolutely solid in their marking here. And the goalkeeper was solid in his handling. McAllister got it too close to Schmeichel.
Good idea, I think, Dean at the front post against McClare and Irwin, I think it was. Well, you'd fancy Brian Dean there, and I think he just tried to drift one into that near post area. Just a little bit too much weight on it.
Dean. McAllister! Was concentrating so much on getting his body behind it that he slightly neglected the work of his arms.
Great play, McAllister. He just glides across the ground at times. Popped off the ball and off he went, looking for it back.
Dean may have got away with a handball then. Bruce. Defending, tucked in, but now springing forward in support of Brolin. As Thomas Brolin took his eye off the ball to look where Dorigo was, Beckham, who chased back nobly, was able to intervene. Here's Cole. Taking on Weatherall and supplying the cross. There's McAllister diving to head away. Fell well for Leeds, speed. Parker still trying to keep the reins on Yeboah, but Schmeichel having to make the challenge in the end. It's a lead throw. Schmeichel scampers back. Brolin wanting to take it quickly, but Leeds are actually short of numbers in the centre at the moment. Now Dean has got there, speed on the ball. McAllister. Manchester United have somewhat regrouped. Bruce can bring it down. Finds Cole well. He in turn finds Cantona well. 2 against 3, but it's still with Manchester United. Beanie makes the save, but the counter-attack there, oozing quality.
Beautiful football. Great interplay from Cole and Cantona. And that wasn't the strike of a man who's suffering in confidence, I tell you. It was a very confident strike from not a great angle, across the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper spills it. But as you would expect, there's no one to catch up the play. Both Cantona and Cole broke away beautifully.
To suggest there's still more in the match for Manchester United. Beckham. That's a fine try.
Well, he has got a dig on him, David Beckham. It would be foolish to allow that young man as much space as he's got here, because I'll tell you, he can hit the ball, and if he keeps getting space like that, he will hit the target. But let's have another look at that wonderful Yeboah goal. We wondered whether he'd lost control of it, whether he showed Irwin too much. It's just a lovely lift, the lift of a quality striker, the awareness of the goalkeeper going to ground ahead of him, and the ability to just lift it over him. and onto the target.
And another one for the show reel for Tony Yeboah. Keane. Good movement from McLeod. But he was just trying to do too much against Palmer. Well, sometimes these early starts play havoc with the pre-match routines for players. When I left for the stadium, I'm sure I saw people arriving home from parties from last night.
I passed you.
Wonderful first half, in keeping with the festive spirit. Started with Gary McAllister's penalty and handball by Nicky Butt after that very fortuitous goal at Sheffield Wednesday to open his account in England. Entertainment in the first half, and it gives this match an air of providing further goals. Keane realising that he just had that extra second or two to be sure with the back pass. Been in the news this week with some newspaper speculation that Coventry were trying to sign him. There was an inquiry a while back that's just become public. It was an inquiry that was dismissed out of hand by Howard Wilkinson. Corner to Leeds, looking for a 2-goal cushion.
And that was better. That was good delivery right across the edge of the 6-yard box. Whether I went flying in and got straight into Eric Cantona and stayed down.
And, Leeds had to cover for him here. Cantona letting the ball do the work. Here's Cole. And Beanie was big enough to keep it out at the expense of a corner. David Weatherall now making his way back.
Good strike from Andy Cole again. Quite comfortable to take it onto his weaker side. And he hits a really powerful shot. Good goalkeeper, good position, stood up big. Didn't make it a big target for Andy Cole to hit.
Beckham's corner. And Beanie helping Jobson out, telling him he could leave it. Not wanting to just clip the ball into the centre where Leeds are well served by Weatherall and Jobson in the air. Speed getting applause for the challenge, and Yeboah skipped past Parker. Tony Yeboah in full cry. Thomas Brolin herring into the centre. Here's Brolin. And here's Schmeichel and Dean. And Dermot Gallagher for this angle. No Giggs, no Sharp.
I think Beckham might fancy this.
Well, in his short career, he's already shown that he can be a real set-piece specialist. David Beckham. Corner for Leeds. Short to Gary Kelly. Cross was on the short side as well. But it was a real battle of skills, a battle of wills between Yeboah and Schmeichel, two players, the top of the tree.
He may have been tempted to put the brakes on, maybe look for offside. It wouldn't have been wise because Steve Bruce would have played him on. So he says, I'll defend properly, I'll shadow him, I'll knock it out for a corner.
But signs that the threat is coming back from Leeds. Weatherall. Oh, Yeboah got to it when Manchester United wanted the ball to run out of play.
Well, defenders waited, the striker didn't.
Back with speed. Bruce for the second time. Beckham raised his foot there. Brolin would have got an indirect free kick in Italy for that type of challenge on him. Kelly. McAllister, just a bit too straight. Swift throw from Schmeichel. Cantona well read by Carlton Palmer. Being turned in, speed turned into Butts. Tackle. Half away by Weatherall. Keane is the space in the wide position again. Keane decides to have a crack himself. Well, it was a buccaneering run from a left-back who's still hoping to get a recall to the England setup, particularly given the distressing injury for Brian Rousseau. Cole penalised, bringing down Jobson. Free kick to Leeds.
Good run from Jobson, didn't panic. It looked like it was going down a cul-de-sac, but he kept a very cool head.
Brolin. Here's Palmer, tricks Owen. Brolin wants to be teed up here. He is teed up. It's 3-1. Brian Deane against Manchester United again.
Well, Dean's is a header, but the quality came from Brolin and Palmer. Carlton Palmer's run. Now watch that, round the back of Brolin. Now watch the way he just pulls it back and then looks up and says, go on. Is he going to shoot? No, he's not. It's a brilliant stand-up from Brolin. And the simple thing was Brian Dean's. The rest before was quality football to admire. The header was a good one from Dean that gave Schmeichel no chance.
Well, they were lining up. There was speed, there was Yeboah, and there was the goal scorer Dean.
Well, you have to feel a bit for Manchester United, Martin. They had certainly were the better team in the second half and looked like they would be the most likely to score. Eric Cantona has been off for 5-7 minutes, and in those 5 or 7 minutes, Leeds United have been able to exert a bit of pressure and, most importantly, get that valuable third goal.
By McClure. Again, the sense that the method that Manchester United are having to employ is too central. And David Beckham went careering in once the ball was not really his for the taking.
It's a booking, but it was nice to see Gary McAllister pick himself up and Beckham and say, come on, never mind, let's get on with it.
Major activity down on the touchline. Eric Cantona is back on. And Paul Scholes and David May are ready to be introduced for the first time. Paul Parker will come off and Beckham just booked.
I wonder if that means they'll go 3 at the back, tuck Gary Neville in a bit, and just go with 3 and push Owen forward.
Well, May is bringing on the message.
Well, it looks like they're staying before.
But it's 3-1, and even though Leeds have wobbled disastrously defensively in recent games at key stages, the money must be on Manchester United being beaten here. But here's Cole, and the picture might change here, but this time with a shot close to Beanie's body, he was ready to make the save, and there wasn't the sting and the surprise in it.
The run was a good one, the ball was a good one. And that's probably the poorest of the 3 attempts he's had against Mark Beanie. The goalkeeper's made 3 saves from Andy Cole. The previous 2 were more difficult than that one. Just didn't quite catch the shot with the power he wanted.
Palmer. Yeboah. Leeds still hungry. Got a corner. Their pride was desperately hurt. Losing 6-2 in the Premiership, it just doesn't happen that often. To be on the wrong end of a scoreline, that more of a Parks team result than a Premiership team. But they've worked hard this week. Howard Wilkinson has spelt out what's required. This contest, of course, brings its own competitive edge. That's Jobson. McAllister still in play, only to the benefit of Cantona. Scholes. Neville's gone a long way, and they've got a lot of players forward as they need to gamble. Yeboah with plenty of room and time on his side as well. Brolin. He's still on the go.
He's in an active game today, Brian Dean.
Yeboah. There's no one wanting to attack the cross at the moment. That's why Yeboah had to hang on and play it deeper to Palmer. Sensible work from the Ghanaian. Really having to hit Yeboah.
Well, it wouldn't have surprised us, would it, if it does? Came off that left foot and bent into the top corner.
Is he making a note that he's actually missed with a volley? Just to confirm those changes Alec Ferguson made. Paul Scholes, as we pointed out before recently, the top scorer in the United ranks at the moment. Cole. Cantona. Owen's cross. Weatherall flinging himself into the clearing of it. And there's no doubt the Leeds United fans relish this type of result against Manchester United, and there might be more to celebrate. Yeboah! Keane made a token jump knowing he wasn't going to get to the ball.
I think Yeboah knew that Keane wasn't getting there. Do you know the one thing that surprised me, Martin? That he doesn't just cushion this on his left foot. He knows Keane's not getting it. No, I thought he'll just cushion it on his left foot, take a touch and steady himself, and then rifle it. But, well, the goals he's scored this season, he's entitled to have a go on the volley.
Scholes. Gary Nunn. That's too far for Cole. Kelly can be sure that there was no one coming in behind him.
Well, he won the throw, Andy Cole, because he wasn't prepared to give it up.
And Manchester United aren't prepared to give it up here. With 2 goals adrift. They'll need to all that Cantona can create. Just taking it behind. Don't know whether those stitches have actually stemmed all the bleeding. Palmer. So it all been sucked towards him that time.
He was unlucky, he played it blind. I think that was the thing, without really having a good look. He's sensible and intelligent. Ball back post, everyone sucked to the near post. But I don't think Leeds are going to gamble too many men forward in the way that they did first half up, with a 3-1 lead and now into the last 10 minutes.
Still they won't let Cantona rest. Not even at Christmas. Philip Neville. Scholes. Now Cole. But that really was the height of optimism. But with 9 minutes to go, desperate times requiring desperate remedies for Manchester United in this match. Much will be made of Newcastle's advantage over Alec Ferguson's team at this stage, if it stays this way. Those optimistic cries won't be taken too seriously on Tyneside by Kevin Keegan, who's trying to keep everybody's feet on the ground, knowing there's another half of the season to run. Corner. Well, you can see why Howard Wilkinson wouldn't entertain any transfer talk involving Carlton Palmer. Also Brian Dean as well. Some sounds from South Yorkshire and Howard Kendall, but they might like to have Dean back at Bramall Lane.
What must be frustrating for Howard Wilson as well, and it's times I can't understand it when you see Leeds play as well as they've done today, Martin, and how they're not up there contesting the league title.
Brolin lifting it away from Keane, and clearly feeling the pace now. McAllister. Schmeichel was pleased that that wasn't an inch or two lower, otherwise Dean would have glanced in another one. Scholes.
Well, look at Tony Yeboah, back in the edge now, filling in for people. Well, that shows you how keen everyone in a white shirt is to get a result today, to protect what they have.
Shaped up well, Leeds, to defend as a group. Yeboah uses his strength to get past Butts and skill to take on Philip Neville and Butt again, and then finally Scholes put an end to it.
A little bit of showboating. I would say that's not the wise thing to be doing.
McClare, Cantona. Almost a foul by Jobson. He didn't see it that way.
No, you would certainly think, Martin. I mean, I'm talking about Tony Yeboah showboating. There are 6 or 7 minutes left in this game, and if United were to, well, produce something from this set piece, then you can imagine a very nervy closing 5 minutes for Leeds United.
Well, cometh the time, perhaps cometh the man. Whether it's to be Cantona or Irwin, both, of course, former Leeds United players. It's Cantona, struck the wall. Heaney was on the move, back in from Neville. Up goes David May, and it fell Yeboah's way. Leeds have pulled all their players back. They put a lot into this second half, Manchester United, for no reward. But Leeds lorded it over them in the first 45 minutes and have been good enough in the second period to strike when it mattered. Palmer, Dean, Kelly. And that hit was fellow Southern Irishman, Roy Keane. Presented back to Kelly again by May. Oh, Schmeichel was so anxious to be throwing it, he hadn't actually caught it. Cantona. Well, it hit McClare, who was bright enough to realise there might be something in it for Manchester United. It is a throw, no more. Lots of occasions when there have been plenty of red shirts forward, but not many occasions when they've really threatened to unhinge Leeds at the back. Gary Neville, Philip Neville, here's Keane, trying to add something extra, and Dorigo coming back. Very different Christmas from all his family back in Australia on the beaches with the barbecues, but Tony Dorigo will take this sort of satisfaction. McClare. Palmer still pressing his claims, maybe. Andy?
Well, there's been a lot of good performances, man. It's difficult. But I'm going to give it to a man who you said is going to be able to sit down and enjoy his Christmas lunch this year. And I'm going to give him a magnum of champagne to drink with that Christmas lunch. And my Carling Premiership man of the match is Carlton Palmer.
Scholes. And Deeney keeps it out from Philip Neville. Carlton Palmer goes off to a 2-match suspension with the accolade of the Carling man of the match for a major match for Leeds United, the biggest game of their season, and they've lifted their game. I say lifted their game because had they played like this on a consistent basis, we'd be relating them to Newcastle's position. Sell-out crowd, splendid entertainment, and a minute or so to go. Cole was offside.
Great ball through. Didn't have fizz that ball through, David May. He's talking about Carlton Palmer enjoying his Christmas lunch. I bet there are a few thousand Geordies going to enjoy it a little bit more as well after this match.
Not the best of fortunes for Alec Ferguson. Gary Pallister still out, and such a major loss. Ryan Giggs didn't quite make it. They'd hoped that he'd be able to play him through the pain of a damaged foot. Lee Sharp ill. That's an occupational hazard for players at this time of year. United not the only club to suffer in that respect. Even with his best 11 to come here, he would find Leeds always up for this fixture. We're into stoppage time with a Manchester United corner. Chance to make it look a bit better on the scoreline. Gary Speed very relieved, having been a major figure responsible for the 1 goal United have scored. Kelly. This could be the perfect finale. It's Palmer. Wallace trying to get free in the middle. McAllister coming up, and Palmer only finds McClare, but the danger isn't over for Manchester United yet. Speed.
Well, keep ball, that's what should be in their mind, and it's exactly what Gary McAllister's trying to do. Keep it there. That's what they want. They just want to keep possession of the football.
Here we go from Speed's clever back heel. Dean, they can rub it in.
Well, what a finale that would have been. That would have been the cherry on top of the icing, on top of the cake. Had that come off. Watch this. Great run from Dorigo, great cheek from Gary Speed. And this would just have been, well, as I say, the cherry on top of the icing for Leeds.
An all-white Christmas for Leeds United. Manchester United beaten at Elland Road and Anfield as they were last season, but not in such quick succession. Brian Deane made sure of it with the only goal of the second half. Gary McAllister's penalty set Leeds off on the right note. They needed a good start after what had happened at Sheffield Wednesday. Andy Cole equalised. But then Peter Schmeichel beaten by Tony Yeboah to give Leeds a deserved half-time lead. United, Manchester that is, offered plenty of effort through midfield in the second half. But it just makes their need for victory over Newcastle next Wednesday even more pressing.